I started dancing because of my mom. I guess it was more common back then to have like adult tap classes. Like today we have Zumba or like more aerobics or like adult twerking classes and stuff. And back then it was like tap. But I remember her teaching me the shim sham, which is like a really well known tap step, and she would teach it to me by having me stand on her feet, and as she was doing it, I would sort of feel the swing of her leg and just be along for the ride as she was doing it. Yeah, it's a good memory. Early on, I never really thought about dance as something that I'd be doing now. I'm 32 now. Yeah, I never thought about dance as something that I would do in the long run, just because I didn't think there was like a place for me. I didn't think that I was the perfect copy or the perfect replica that a dancer needed to be. And so it wasn't until like I grew up that I realized that dance creates community, and if I approach it that way, well, everyone deserves to belong in a community, and so then everybody deserves to dance, right? I mean, every body dances, and every body is important and valuable, but somehow like we've been told that like there's only room for certain bodies in the chorus of all other bodies, and that's not true. Like there's room for everyone. Dance has helped me be authentic. Yeah, it's just like the one way I have to be brave. I can't think of anything more beautiful than that. So Gimp Gate, 2016, Karen Peterson from Karen Peterson and Dancers asked me if I would create a duet for myself and Marjorie Lane Burnett, who's a founding member of Karen Peterson and Dancers. It was my first time ever making something on with a dancer that had a physical disability, and that taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about asking questions, about the importance of rapport, of understanding that that discomfort is good, that discomfort is growth. I learned that with Marjorie, we were able to talk about how both of us felt queered or othered or seen differently by society than we see ourselves. But what it really became was about Marjorie and me trying to figure out with Marjorie how we could create a solo for two. And so that's what Gimp Gate was. It was Marjorie and I was a surrogate for the power that Marjorie was wielding in the performance. So everything I do is a couple seconds behind Marjorie. Marjorie always leads. Marjorie directs. Even the movement that we would do was built from the material and qualities that Marjorie brought to it. So yeah, it was a solo for two.
Fuck you. Mind your own fucking business. Put your purpose out.
Reach more. Hand out.
Lean back.
Hephaestus was a commission from Tiger Tail Productions. It was for April of 2017. It was the last season before Tiger Tail folded and Mary left and John Crammell left Miami. And I feel super lucky to have had that experience. It was with Carla Forte and Marissa Almanick, and Hattie Mae Williams. And, so I was in very good company, and we had to choose each of us a different spot at Vizcaya, and do a 5-minute solo that we would repeat twice. And it would be sort of a promenade where the audience would travel from site to site, and we would perform for each audience as they came through. And it was all about gods of fire. So I chose the Greek god Hephaestus. He was born with a disability, and Zeus did not want a son with a disability, so he flung him down. So and the whole myth is about Hephaestus working as hard as he can to try and get back to god status. And he's credited with forging weapons and shields and containers for great treasures for the gods. And eventually he earned the right to be back there, but he was always sort of an outsider. And I think that spoke to me a lot. I did that performance of Hephaestus on the stone barge outside of Vizcaya. I was told that it had been years since anybody had been on it. There was all kinds of stuff that had been washed up there. I remember cutting my hands on sharp pieces of rock that were there. And then I had a small rowboat that I borrowed, and I pick it up and I take it down to the shore, and I had a line that was set up to the shore, and I just had to pull myself to shore. And then it ends with me standing up on the dock and raising the boat up. And that was an exhausting 5 minutes. So with Reprise, it was very much about what voices are often erased, and what experiences are often left unspoken about, and what is virtuosity, especially when there's this idea of a queer person always failing to be the thing that is accepted by heteronormative society or a homogenous society. So really celebrating that failure and that impossibility of ever being alike, and that is radical and beautiful, and that helps, because it's not just at the end, we're not just making something that is meant to be digested and observed by others, but we're also making something that is a gift for ourselves. Artists don't get paid enough, period. So you have to be getting something out of the work that you're doing, something mental, physical, spiritual, it's finding questions to answers, and I have a lot of questions.
Respond! Da-da, 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 da-da. Swoosh! Swoosh! Da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Respond! Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
we took her to the hospital. It's around 4 in the morning. She'd gone pretty bad. She couldn't read without closing one eye. She kept on vomiting. So like I was super excited to be able to have the chance to work with FUNDarte. I have been an audience member at many out in the tropics, and so when to be part of a festival that has produced amazing artists like Sean Dorsey, Taylor Mack. It's part of a really important queer legacy. I mean, it was actually in this theater where I saw both Taylor Mack as well as Sean Dorsey. And for someone that has like spent their life not feeling a full sense of belonging, knowing that you don't need to belong when you are queer. You are your own belonging, and I think that's what Out in the Tropics celebrates is just the rejection of definition, the rejection of standard norms of beauty and aesthetic, the rejection of being powerless. I'm very grateful for the early project support for DJ Apollo. I think with DJ Apollo, I'm interested in really dismantling how age is perceived, and especially how age and relevance is perceived, how important our elders are, that sort of blood memory or ancestral memory or your connection to your past and how that shapes your future, and also something that's very specific to like the gay community is what feels like an obsession with youth. But I feel like that's not an obsession that will serve any person, because eventually you age, and if you're afraid of that, you can't do it with grace. Yeah, things are just so uncertain now. This has been like an incubator, a pressure cooker, an intense experience. Definitely there's been I think I felt this like existential question of if not choreograph, then what? Creative people, artists, we thrive out of obstacles and challenges, and that's nothing but a task-based exercise. That's nothing but an imperative or a study or some parameters that you set on yourself choreographically. So if you treat this like an endurance performance, you get something different out of it. So that's what I've been experimenting with for myself. Yeah.